Are we streaming? Are we streaming? Are we streaming? That is the question. Are we streaming? Is it there? It's there. It's there. It's there. Hello. Okay. So we are streaming. Hello, hello. So, ha ha ha. A slightly different look today because let's just stop this music. Stars. I've been doing some stuff on AbletonMove, quite a bit of stuff on the old AbletonMove, and I kind of hit a bit of a wall with it. Sounds great, love it, but because we've kind of got these pads, so basically each pad is 16 bars maximum. And you can record patterns into each of these pads. And then you have 4 possible tracks that you can play. So down here, let's just mute this. I've got drums. Oh, I need to mute this. No, mute. So I've got drums down here and I've got some different patterns. And I can have up to 8 different patterns that I can play. And then same for each one of these tracks. Problem I'm having is I'll find stuff that I think works together. So I'm using stuff like this that I think really works together. And I can just kind of like trigger them and try and make a song out of them, you know. So I've laid these out. So I've got something nasty there. Let's just stop that. So, yeah, so I've got something nasty there. And then I've got something here. So I've got these things that I think work together, which is all kinds of fun, and I love the sound of it. And then I've got a little bit more complicated, but anyway, this is a Muse song that I was messing with. But anyway, point is, this, I kind of hit a wall with it. Sketching out songs, and what the Move is meant for is that you sketch out a load of patterns like this and then you're meant to move it to Ableton Live. Now, Ableton Live is great, I love it, but I'm trying to, it feels like I'm working when I'm looking at a computer screen. It feels like I've got to do work. So I was looking for something where I could get further with a track or a tune. Now, I'm no expert, obviously, but see if I could get further. So I was looking for another box. So I did loads of digging, had a weekend of YouTube diving. And last week I bought this, which is a Synthstrom Deluge, which I'd never heard of before. And it's quite an old box. I think it's like 7 or 10 years old. Picked it up secondhand on eBay. And I've to buy it got it last Wednesday, and now I've been away out on tour this weekend, so I had some time to play with it, and I've done a little bit of learning. And for me, it does everything that the Move does. So it's a sampler, tick. It's a synth, tick. It's a sequencer, tick. And it has got lots of other stuff, which kind of put me off a little bit. It's got like gate out and CV out for people who are doing module controls. But again, I need something I can chuck in my bag. So this isn't right. As ever, I'm monitoring it out mini jack. It has got a proper line in and out, which the AbletonMove doesn't have. And it's got a full-size line in, which again, the Move doesn't have. It's got MIDI in and out. The USB, it's powered over USB or a DC plug. The USB is like an old-fashioned printer USB. But yeah, it's got battery, so it does everything that the Move does. And I did a little bit of comparison about how stuff sounds. And other than other than like the time stretch feature, which is not bad at all, it sounds pretty much identical to my ears anyway than the AbletonMove, so which is a good thing because I like the sound of the AbletonMove. So we're going to try and make something today. So what I've done is, if you've watched any of my previous live streams, is I've taken a load of the guitar samples that I've been doing with my little travel guitar. So I've been recording some nasty guitar samples with this thing and that thing, and over here I've got a little positive grid amplifier, and I've just been going through this, which is essentially a virtual amp. So I've been plugging that guitar in through this and sampling it into the Move and then chopping things up. And I've done the same thing with the Deluge. Only thing that the Deluge doesn't have, that the Move does have, is like Wi-Fi. So there's no kind of network on this, which is why I can't show you this screen, this little screen, all big on the screen. Now, this will probably go wrong. Well, let me just test this. I have set up a little camera feed, so hopefully... Alright, that didn't work quite well. Let's just tilt this up. Yeah, so you got that little screen there, which, for me, just sitting here looking at it, is fine. It's enough and gives me enough information. Older versions of this have like a 7-segment screen, which I definitely didn't want. Felt like I was back in the 70s if it was on one of those. So, but I think you can see enough there. I think you can see enough stuff going on there. So, am I actually streaming? That is the big question. No, it's all gone to shit. Oh no, there we go. I'm back up. I am definitely there. Okay, so whether or not I was streaming that intro bit, I'll just assume that I was. So, little screen, control everything, and then a myriad of buttons which are a little bit confusing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I can turn up the brightness of these buttons. I'll try and explain what I'm doing as I'm going, but this is just really recording this just to see if it does what I want it to do. So, somewhere in here, pads, colours, no it's not that, back out of there. Gate, trigger lock, pad, sample, recording, community. Oh, the other thing I should mention, actually, is that, so even though this thing came out like 7 odd years ago, there is a community, like there is with the Ableton Schwung, with the Schwung on Ableton, there is like a community who are writing bespoke software for it. So this thing, I am running you'll see it here, a community firmware. If you have a look on their site, let's just tilt up so you can see that. Yeah. There is a group of people who are writing extra functions for this. So that's the firmware that I'm on, which is the latest one, which I think was updated 2 years ago. It's not very difficult to install, and if you search Synthstrom Deluge community firmware, should be self-explanatory. But that is what I'm using on here. So anyway, let's go out back to the wide. Oh, I have definitely messed that up. So we're just going to have to zoom out here. Bear with me. I'm going to have to zoom out and then tilt a little bit. There we go. Let me store that. Right. So, yeah. So there are community people updating it with stuff. I don't know if that's going to carry on, but the stuff they've done so far is ace. But we're not going to go into that loads and loads. I'm just going to see if I can turn up the brightness of these pads. There we go. Let's turn the brightness up of these pads so then you should be able to see what's going on. Let's just zoom out a little bit more. There we go. Let's set that. Right. So, let's come out. So, there's a load of controls at the top. These pads are all multifunctional. This is like your effects area here. So this is where you can do things like EQ, reverb, delay, all that kind of stuff. This is kind of like for navigation and a load of other things. So here I'm going up and down, or you can go left and right. But anyway, let's just start doing something, because that's probably the easiest way. So let's start with a new song. So there's a shift button. You spend a lot of time pressing this shift button. I'm sorry about the autofocus. It's just the way I've got this set up. It's a little bit annoying, but hopefully you can deal with it. So, shift and new. Clear song. So this will clear an old song that I've been working on. So, as I said, there's a synthesizer. So you'll see this button here says synth. So yeah, so you got synth there. Yeah, you got synth. So each instrument can be a synth. That's me just hitting the keys. It can be a drum kit. So kind of set up like kits you'd expect in Ableton, kind of same as Move. Then you can do MIDI, which I think is obviously just for MIDI out. I've got nothing connected. And you can do CV as well. But let's just, I'll just go through. So synth here. So if, then you got the difference between a song and a clip. So now I'm inside a clip and I've got this synth. So I'll just have a flip through these. Yep. So I'm not sure how many there are. I think there's like 120 odd. But then you can also create your own synths. So I've created one here called Guitar Time Stretch. So this is, you can load a sample into a synth and then use that as your synth. So I've got this Guitar Time Stretch, which I made on another live stream, which is... That is a nasty noise. So then if I wanted to program that to play, I can just... That has now put that duration in, and if I hit play... Now you see that little counter going across? That is showing me which bar I'm on. And then one of the things that takes the longest to get your head around is on here there's like a zoom level. So if I click on this knob here... Wait there. He says confidently. Yeah, so if I click on here, this shows me now how many notes I'm viewing. I don't know if you can view that. So again, we'll just zoom in here, tilt up. We'll just zoom in here and tilt up. Oh, not down, up. This is fun, isn't it? Right. Yeah, so here I can view in 16th notes, 8th notes, 4th notes, a bar, second notes, right the way up to, I think, 100. Wow, you can get really granular. So I tend to stick to 16, not because I think that's right, just because that's a bar in my head. And there's 16 pads, so that makes sense to me. So if I play this again, and now I turn this left-right, you'll see it tells you what bar you're in. So there it says I'm in bar 1, beat 1, and then bar 2. So as I see this play, I just hit play again. And you see it play through bar 2, bar 3, and bar 4. And then all the way back to 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I zoom out, so let's just go to say, let's do it on 4th notes. You can see I've got 4 bars now on my 16 pads. And obviously this is a synth, so... So at the moment when I hit this, so let's just go back to bar 1 and I'll just demonstrate this. Bar 1. Now you see that's suddenly gone really high up, so let's just make it a bar. And this is because I am actually now in time stretch mode. This is very confusing for people, I'm not sure. But you'll see here, I have the opportunity to have a sample as a stretch, a loop, just play once, or cut. So if I select cut, it'll just cut off after the first bar, because I only got the first bit there. Yep, so if I was to do that over 2 bars, yeah, it cuts off after 2 bars. If I was just to do just a single note, yeah, so that's just for 1 beat. And then if you were to get more granular, so let's zoom back into 16th notes, and then if I wanted it just on a 16th of a note, you see that? Just chip, so... So that's what cut does. So let's just do a different mode. Once does what you think it'll do. It just plays once. So even though I've only got that one thing now, it's like a trigger. So even though it's just triggered once, it plays the whole thing, which goes on forever. And loop, it'll just loop round as long as you hold the note. And then you got a time stretch. Yeah, so that is in the samples. So let's just back out of that. So let's say we don't want this, and we'll just have a drum kit. So there are drum kits on this as well. So now instead of this being pitches, this fires different sounds. So this is on a built-in sound. So you got 808. Don't know what that is. Just these are the built-in sounds. Ah, that's so 80s. 909. And then loads of different kits. These probably mean something to people more than it means to me. I'm just looking for sounds that I like. So what I actually did was, you can use their built-in sounds, or you can create your own kit. So I've created a kit here, which is more of my nastiness. So the other room, this is my, so this is, I think you're just hearing my mic reverberate a little bit there, by the way. So that's not the sound of the Move. Let me just move, not the Move, the Deluge, or Deluge, don't know. I'm just going to mute my mic. Okay, so that's drum kit, and then you're not just limited to these 8 sounds. So you notice this one here you can go up and down with. So I've got more than 8 sounds. So if I put this select in the middle, it should make more sense. Can you see that? So we've got more sounds up here. And I've selected what these sounds are. So to show you how to do that, so if you hold this, it shows me there what sample is loaded. So let's just zoom in again. Seamless, mine, seamless. So let's zoom in and tilt up a bit. Okay, so as I hit the sound, it shows you what sample is loaded. So if I go in there and hit kit, now I can select what sample I want. And I've just realised it's showing something that might be interesting to people. Was to me. I love the look of it. So as I try and load these samples, it gives me on the on here an idea of the waveforms of them. So you see that? That's cool. So you get an idea of the waveform. I'm not sure which one I was on. I think I prefer that one. So let's have that. Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to stop doing all the zooming stuff because it takes too long. But yeah, if you can listen to this on it. And then if you can change a kit, create your own kits, you can name them. That's one thing you can't do on the Move. You can't name anything. I kept on creating loads of stuff and I don't know what it was. So you have to kind of remember. At least in this, you can put some other information in. And this is really handy. It instantly shows you what's loaded. So that's my snare. That's a clap. So I've built this kit. Then even more than that, you can go in and affect each thing individually. So say like you want some more bass on your kick. If I come into these effects over here. Now I think this is part of the community software, but this is what I found out. If I click this gold knob, so these gold knobs are like your effects. So there it's showing me this is EQ, or I can have a low pass filter, high pass filter, EQ. And it's not just that, by the way. Each one controls a different setting. So if I control this EQ here, so I'm turning up the treble, you can hear that. It's got, oh, that hits hard. Let's turn the bass up. I mean, that's ridiculous. But then if you want to take the top end off, I can then go into a low pass filter and I should say all of these are automatable as well. Okay, so if you wanted to have a little bit of reverb on there, so I can come over here. When you hold each one of these, it tells you what it does. So there, that one's got sidechain on the top wheel, and on the bottom wheel it's got reverb. So let's put a bit of reverb on. Now, I thought the reverb was screwed when I first started doing this, because that reverb sounds terrible to me. You hear it? It's horrible. So there is something about reverb type, and let me see if I can remember how to get in there. No, not there. Not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Okay, so if I hold this and click on here, it takes me into the settings for this, he says confidently. There we go. And then if I go into effects, reverb, model, freeverb is what I found better. So let's back out there. So now that's more like it. So let's put a load of it on. Sounds quite nice, I think. Okay, so one other thing I haven't mentioned as well. All these keys, I've got labels on them for controlling absolutely everything. And it's a bit of a brain melt to start off with, but soon you get into it. So if I wanted to, in fact, so like change the size of the room. Do that on here. Yeah, I can change dampening. This is just on the reverb. If I wanted it, the width of it, take it down. And that should be feeling quite mono now. Yeah, you get the idea. And the amount there, so I can change the amount here, or I can change the amount here. So everything's like accessible in 3 places. This has got some like quick places to quickly affect stuff. You can then shift and come into individual parameters here. Or if you want to go old school, you can just go into it and have a look at the menu about what you want to change. That's what I discovered anyway. Anyway, I meant to be trying to see if I'm going to sell this. So I should have said this at the beginning. I bought it. And I kind of think, like, I can't have this and the Move. I suppose I could have this and the Move. But I'm looking for something to make my noises on. And I think this might be replacing my Move, which might be really stupid. But let's try it. So, what I'm going to do is let's just try and make some nasty music. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and make some nasty music. I still got my Move over here. And I might just like play some stuff for reference just to kind of get me in the mood for stuff. So I really like this drum beat I've got here. This. He says confident. So this is playing on my Move. So I'm just going to try and create that. I'm just going to check what the tempo is on the Move. Tempo, I'm at 145. So this is your tempo knob here. So, oh, look at that, I'm at 145. So, let's get rid of that reverb first. It's a bit big. So I'm just going to take that down. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit in. Yeah, a tiny bit in. So, let's just have a listen to this. So. So just got one bar there. Okay. Just going to have a listen to what the individual sounds are in there. So let's just have a listen to, let's just mute the bass and snare on the Move. That's what I'm doing. Right. So there's a bit of reverb on that snare, and it sounds like a different snare actually. So let's just first, let's change that snare. So I'll come back out of here. I'm looking for... So there's folders and files in here. So let's just show that. I know I said I wasn't going to zoom in loads, but let's just show that. So let's just zoom in there. I'll have to tilt up a bit. Yeah, so you see there, you got all sorts. So if I just back out. So you've got a load of stuff that comes with it, like on the Move. So they've got their own drums. They've got their own resample. They've got loads of stuff in here. But I've put my stuff in the other room. So I've created a folder myself. Everything, I should say, is stored on an SD card. So you just copy the folder onto there, stuff that you need, and you're there. One thing I did find out, it doesn't play broadcast WAVs. Anyway. So let's go drums. And let's go, I've got the sample pack here. Let's have a look at snares. Now, I might not have brought them all over, but let's have a listen. So. So it's dead easy to navigate through. Are those the same one? They are the same one. Yep. So I'm going to go with that one. But let's brighten it up a little bit. Right, let's just zoom back out so you can see what's going on. So I'm selected the snare here. Now, this is just playing one bar because we've only got one bar programmed in, but there's actually 4 bars here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shorten... No, that's the wrong way. I'm going to shorten this down to 1 bar. So we'll come down here. So now, this should just play 1 bar in a loop. Yeah, which it does. Great. So let's just have a little play with our EQ. So as we did before, EQ. Yeah, it's really nasty that. It's nasty. I should also say you can change the individual levels here as well. So if I want my snare down, my snare up, it's just a case of doing that. And we want a bit of reverb on that as well. So I'll come over to here, get some reverb going. I'll just mute the bass. Okay, let's just go and have a look at the settings for this. Effects, reverb, model. Yeah, we are on reverb. Good. Now I don't know if that's a site-wide. I don't know if that's a machine-wide. Let's find out if that's machine-wide. So reverb, model. Let's change it to mutable. Okay, so that's song-wide. So we're going to stick with reverb. Okay. Let's just change the amount on there. So yeah, quite like that. Okay, cool. So unmute my bass. These are mutes, by the way. There is a way of doing a solo. I think it's a shift and it goes blue. No, that's wrong. I don't know how you do a solo. Apparently there is a way to solo. Don't know what it is. Okay, so listening to the Move again. Let's mute that ride cymbal. Did it. That's clap. Did it. That's probably not right. Okay, I'm not going to put it on myself. Did it. I think something like that. Okay, I'm going to try a different sound for that because I've got a slightly more open hi-hat there. I'm not sure if I've got it on here. But let's just have a look. So if I back out, and I'm going to look at hats. And that one, I'm going to try that. So, I mean, I quite like that. I think there's a bit too much bass on my bass drum. Oh, fuck it, why not? We'll leave it there for now. So, just having a listen to the other stuff. Did it. Did it. Just going to mute that snare drum. Did it. Okay, that's cool. A little bit of a reverb on that as well. Not too much. Okay, bring the bass and drums, bass and snare back in. Okay, now we had an offbeat ride cymbal. I'm not sure I've got a ride cymbal on this kit. So I'm going to swap this hi-hat out, this open hi-hat, for a ride. So same thing, do that, and let's come back out, and I think it's in cymbals. Whether or not I've got it, we shall find out. And let's just have a listen to it on here. Ting! No, I don't think I've got it in here. Oh, would it be anywhere else? Let's have a look in hi-hats. It might be in there, the ride. Okay, not in there. So we might have to do something else. Let's find something with quite a... Okay, I'm going to go for that. So it's on the offbeat, so... Okay, I quite like that. But the other one was it was a little bit higher. So, as I said, every little controls are down here. So I can go transpose here. So I'm transposing this now. And let's just take the bottom end off it, I think. So I'm coming out of there. I'm just going to come into here, and let's just have a treble. Okay, treble's quite... Going to do high pass filter. I mean, I quite like that. Nasty, that. It's good, that, like that. I also found, as I was looking round, you can put drive on and stuff as well. So that's just there, on that button there. But let's just back off that. Let's just put a bit of drive on the snare. Other thing, I might put a bit of noise on that snare as well. So you can just add noise to things. So noise is there. Does seem to crop the sample. So this is because it's playing the noise. Sorry, the sample has been triggered once, but it's only playing the noise on this. So if I extend it, no. Does that work? Yeah. So if I extend the noise, let's turn the noise up a bit more. Can you hear that noise there, yeah? And I'm going to put a little bit of noise on this as well to give it a little bit more impact. So, shifted noise level. Let's turn this up. Bit too much there. That camera is really haunting, I apologise for that. Okay, quite like that. So, first sound done. Now, one thing I've discovered on here that the Move does not have is, so I can have a 1-bar pattern, but I can decide that certain notes I only want to play on certain repeats. So we just got 1-bar looping. So let's just say I'm just going to try and just put maybe an extra snare drum in. In fact, let's get rid of this last hi-hat. In fact, I quite like it in there, so let's just throw it there. Okay, triple, so at the end. So this will be our normal beat. And then on the 4th time round, I want it to go dead simple. So instead of having to repeat this 4 times and then change the last bar, which you can do, I can just put that in there. If I hold it down, and I hold this down, and then you see this is going 1 of 2. You probably can't see that, so let's zoom in and see if I can make you see that. So I'm just going to zoom in. Let's see if we can show this. Okay, so, right. So I'm now holding, you'll hear it because it's got noise on it, it's just playing. I'm holding that ride. And if I click in this button here and turn it, oh no, this is the wrong thing. This is the wrong thing I've done. So if I click this, hold it in. Okay, I've completely forgotten how to do this. Oh, there we go. Don't hold it in, just turn it. So now you see that dependence. So if I change this to 4 of 4, which is there. Now when I play, so come back out. Now when I play this, the 4th time round it'll play that. It won't play it on the 1st time. So let's unmute it. I've done something really silly there, so I muted it. Not sure what I've done there. I've done something really ridiculous. I have no idea why that's not playing. Oh, I know what I've done. I've got the whole thing. I've got the whole thing playing on 4. So let's just probability 100. There we go. That's right. Right. Start again, Martin. So that's where we were. Then this, I hold this down. So if I'm holding that, it's delaying the whole lot to only play on the 4th. This is playing a note. I didn't know that before. Know that now. Right. Hold this down. This will demonstrate what I was trying to show you. So this will only play on the 4th way round now. So not there. Not there. Not there, but now. There. So it enables you to create really unique patterns. So let's try and find a crash cymbal. So there's a crash cymbal. So I'm going to put a crash cymbal at the beginning. Probably turn the volume of that up a little bit. So level, turn that up. Yeah. So if that played at the start of every bar, it'd be a bit silly. So again, I can hold that note down and say, actually, let's have this play. I'll zoom in again. No, you know what I'm doing. So this one I'm going to do on, this is going to play on 8 of 8. This is going to play on the first of the 8 bar, the first beat of the 8 bar of 8 bar loop. So this should play the first beat of an 8 bar loop and then not play again for another 8 bars. Whereas this one is going to play at the end of the 4th bar. So let's try that. Didn't mean 4th bar, 4th loop is what I meant. That was the 4th. And there's the crash again. Okay, love that. Now, if I can remember, so I've changed this kit a bit from the original one that I'd done, Other Room Hard 001. So I'm going to save, I can save this kit as a new kit. I've no idea how many kits you can save, but I assume it's as big as your card is. So I'm going to hit save and kit. It's either kit and save or save and kit. I can't remember. Save kit. Now it's asking me what I want to call it. Oh, let's back out. Back out. So save. Sorry. Kit save? No, save kit. And I'm going to call this. So this is a little keyboard now that's appeared. If you're looking really close, I don't know if you can see it if I do this and just tilt down. There is actually a keyboard written. You see the letters there. There is actually a little keyboard. So Move Shrunk has something like this, but it's nowhere near as easy as this. So I'm going to call this other space room space. Now you can't do this on a Move, which is really annoying. Kit, and I'm going to call it 002. And hit save again. So now that's room kit 2, and I've still got room hard 1, and I've got room kit 2. So, and that saved everything that we've put in there. So, other things I was going to say, it has got tempo, it has got swing as well, and the swing seems quite cool. So if I hit shift here, but I don't want this to swing. I want it to be straight. We're doing nastiness. Just wanted to show you there was some swing in there. But we probably want to create a little bit of variation in the hi-hats. So as you see here, I turn this knob, I'm moving up and down. So there's my bass drums in orange at the bottom. So there's my bass drums. But then if I just move that, that's snare. That's a clap. So we're not actually moving where they are. It's just what we're controlling. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to swing these hi-hats a little bit. So they're not all the same. Wish I could remember how to solo it. But anyway, we'll just mute everything else instead for now. So we're just going to mute. So that should just be... Oh, I've got the crash at the top there. Mute that. Okay. Okay, so how this does automation. So you can actually record it if you wanted to like record the level. So I could just go, right, this hi-hat is at this level. So I'll just turn the level down there. This hi-hat is at this level. This hi-hat's at this level. I'm just going to mess this around a little bit so you can see. So now, You can hear the difference in that. Let's say I wanted to make this one louder. Oh, I can make it. Yeah, so you can hear it there. So that's one way of doing automation. You can just write it in, just hold a note, tell what setting you want, and you can do that with reverb, you can do that with anything. You can also record it as well if you want, so you can hit record and it will record your movements like the Move does. Or it's got this other funky little thing, which if I hit clip again, now you see all these white lights that have come on. This shows me which parameters are automatable. And you see this one that's brighter than the rest of them. That means I've automated master volume. So if I do shift and that, it now shows me my automation is like a graph. And you can literally draw this in. So to make it obvious, I'm just going to draw in this. Or draw in this. Which I love that. You know, so you can just go, you can actually just draw your pattern in. So if you want to create another pattern, so, or if you wanted to try and create another rhythm, so let's just create a half-time rhythm on the 1 and the 3, just that. Take these down. Okay, I quite like that. Let's come. Okay, so if we just come out of that, now we're back into the kit. Let's unmute the ride cymbal or the kind of open hi-hat we've got, and let's do the same with that. So if I just do, I can hit that again, and this takes me. Oh, it looks like it's taken me into the last automation, which is nice. So let's have that first one lower. No. So it creates a little bit of, you know, got a bit of natural, and I might do the same with a bit on the bass drum as well. So let's just come back out of that bass drum. So let's just have the hats and the bass drum. So what I'm going to do is just maybe just change the EQ a little bit on this rather than the level. So I'm going to change the amount of bass. So wait, let's back out of that. Sorry. So if I go into here, I can just dial through what's automated. So this is the amount of bass. So let's have the first one kick in, and then down here we'll have it a little less bass, and that last one will have big again. So and then going to do the same with the snare, a bit of automation, a bit of variation on the snare. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave that straight. And just unmute that. And I've got the cymbals. So essentially, from writing one bar, I've got an 8-bar loop, which I think is super efficient. See what it sounds. So that sounds cool. I'm going to have a listen back to what the Move sounded like. I'm going to put the snare in. So that's what the Move was sounding like. So on here, I mean, if anything, that sounds fatter to me. I'm doing something weird on here. So this should be 8 of 1 of 8. So let's change this back right then. So that's the Deluge. This is the Move. Very similar. It's probably something I've done with the EQ, but I really like that. Okay, So, now I want to do some nasty guitar noises, because that's really what I'm trying to do. So, one thing I wanted to test out on the Deluge is how intuitive it was to chop up samples. Can I make something musical? Can I make something that I like? That's what we're going to attempt to do. So, if I come back to song now, you'll see, now, this is like an Ableton clip launcher at the moment. I'm not going to go into this too deeply for now. Oh, go on, why not? Why not? So, the song's got two modes. It's got this rose mode. So, and then it's got like what's more like an Ableton clip launcher. So this little clip here will launch when I hit play. Yep, quite simple. But let's just work on building up a pattern that we quite like. Okay, so I'm going to go. So this this mode. Sorry, this is part of the community software to make it look like Ableton, and this is more for a performance. If you just wanted to launch clips, kind of like the Move works, but the reason I was getting this was different. So I'm just going to change this back to rose mode. And then if I hit song again, it takes me into an arrangement. So this is like an arrangement mode, which we will go into in a bit. But at the moment, let's just stick with these rows. So I want to do a new instrument. So let's come down and create this new instrument. Now it's defaulted to a synth. And we've gone into clip mode. So if I come back to song, you'll see there's now another row here. And this one here is the synth that we've just made. So if I go into clip, we're now into that. But let's do another kit. Right, so I don't actually want another drum kit. What I have actually made is some guitar noises. So I've got all this, I have got loads of stuff. So I've been playing with some nice. So let's just go down. So, wait, there we go. So we've got some breaks. Which is quite cool, but I'm not doing that. I'm looking for my nasty guitar noises. So I've got guitar noises 1. So just like we loaded drum clips, I've loaded some guitar noises. But we did slicing on the old Move before, so I'm just going to do that here. So I'm going to create a new kit. So if I remember, it's Shift and Kit creates a new kit. Okay. So now it's asking me for my files like before. So if I just come back out here, let's zoom in again. So you can see what I'm looking at. Come on. Okay. So here, so I'm just going to go out to some more files. So if I go back out, and I'm in my other room folder here. So this is my own sample folder. So if I go into here, I've got all sorts of things. I've got film quotes, but I've got guitars here. Let's just take some raw guitar. Let's do that, right? So these are raw recordings that are made on the Move, actually. These are just some raw. I don't know how long they are, maybe 60 seconds or a minute. But let's take this, for example. Okay. So I'm going to select that. So now I've got that in Kit 5 here. And this is just going to play the entire thing if I hold it. So let's go and look at what mode it's in. It's in cut, so it's only going to play for as long as I play it. I'm going to change it to once. So now if I click it, it'll play the entire thing. So, oh, you're looking at the wrong thing there. So, yeah, so out here. So now let's just do slicing up waveforms. This is different to the Move, but I really like it. So if I press Shift and waveform is over here. So this is showing me the entire waveform of that track. This is the in point, this is the out point. At the moment, the in point is at 0 milliseconds. I don't think you see that there. And if I click here, the out point's at 43 seconds. So this is a 43-second long sample. Bit long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this end point this way. And you can see this is like jumping in quite big chunks because it's basically taking 47 seconds and split it up into 16. So let's come that round here. So I think we got out at 12 seconds. So I'm just going to play it. Okay. So you're like, oh, I need a tighter sample than that. So if I hold this in, like zooming in on MIDI notes, we can zoom in on the sample. So you can see there the wave is getting right down at the bottom. So if I wind this all the way back, so now I'm going through the wave. Yeah, so let's just zoom out a little bit and let's bring this end point in. I'm going to bring it right up to the start point. So you can see this is changing in like tiny increments. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more so I can zoom, so I can move quicker. Okay, so it's the start point we really need to sort out. So let's zoom right out now. So then we can see, so our start point is here. So if I select the start point, I'm going to zoom in. Sorry, I didn't select the start point then, did I? Sorry. So I'm going to select start point. I'm going to zoom in. There we go. So we can see you got that silence at the beginning. There's that little noise. So let's just change the start point. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of that. So let's just zoom out again. Let's bring this end in closer. I can just move it like this. I don't have to always dial. So I'm just going to try and get that noise. So I'm going to zoom right in and just have a play with that out point. Do I want that little noise at the end? No, let's just have it clean. Probably want it harder in at the beginning. So I'm just going to zoom out, come back to the beginning. I've just moved the end, didn't mean to do that. I can just click undo. He says confidently. Wait there, go back into the waveform. Let's zoom right in again. Let's zoom right in. So, change my out point. Not sure what's going on. Oh, there we go. So, out point. A bit further on. Okay, cool. Going to change my in point. Click on there, move my in point. Can go right in. See where we are. I'm not sure what the resolution of this is, but I think you can go in really stupid far. So, you know, if you want to get rid of any little clicks or whatever, you can do that. Okay, so I'm just going to argument's sake say there's my first sample. So you can see the in and out point there. So then if I click back, we've now got that in there. So I'm just going to have a little jam and just see. More level as ever. Okay, quite like that. Okay, so now we're going to add a new sample based on the same thing. So if I just click this next track, it says no sound there. I don't know if you can see that. It says no sound. So if I click kit, now it loads the same sample, which is great. So I'm just going to go into that sample. I've selected that sample now, and then we're going to go and edit the waveform again. So I'm looking for a new in points now, because I've already done that. So I'm just going to zoom in. So that's the bit we did before. So I'm looking for something else, and you can decide what resolution you want to go in. I quite like that. So let's just zoom out, bring the out point in. So bring that all the way over here. Zoom back in. Gonna bring that out point down here. Move it further down, move it further down. Can just turn this if I want to. Okay, zooming out more. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna have the woo, I think. So zooming in a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna say that'll do for now. Might just go in a little bit deeper. Okay, see if this makes any sense. So we're gonna go back now. I'm just gonna have a little. Okay. One thing I have to say is the pads are not pressure sensitive on this. They are on the move. So everything looks like. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is actually just turn down my drums a little bit. So if I come into songs, select my drums. And let's just take the level down a little bit. Clip. Sorry, give me a second. Let's hit stop. Let's select the drum kit and let's take the level down a little bit of the drums. Okay, go back into this. Okay, this one is playing once, this one's on cut, so I'm just going to change that a little second and change this to once. There we go. Other thing, so by default the kit isn't a choke kit. It took me a while to find this, but you can do choke kits. So if I just select shift and polyphony, which is here, I can then decide what this sample is, and I'm going to go choke. I'm going to go into this one, and I'm going to change this polyphony to choke as well. Cool. Right, I'm going to carry on now and just do a few more samples. See if I can find some stuff that I think works together from this messy playing that I've done. Okay, so next sound into there. Okay, so let's have a look at the waveform. Looking for something else now. So I'm going to change the start point. I like that noise. So let's change the endpoint. Let's zoom right in. Zoom in a little bit more. Zoom in a little bit more. Okay, quite like that. Okay, coming back out. That one's uncut as well. But I quite like that one uncut. Okay, couple more sounds I think. So same again, new sound, kit, same sample, select that sample, go into, you're getting the idea. I'm trying a new start point now, I'm going to speed up a bit now. So, new start point. I'm really jumping through this. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, just get a little bit more granular. At the end, no. Okay, I've got something specific I'm going to try with this. So I quite like that as an endpoint. So I'm just going to zoom out, find the endpoint. There it is. Zoom in a little bit, get rid of that little bit. Gonna try something with this. Might not work, but this one I want to transpose it. I'm gonna transpose it down, which should make it start to sound nasty. So let's transpose this. Almost there. So on this transpose, I'll just zoom in again. On this transpose, you can just tilt. You can decide. So at the moment, this is changing it by a tone. You can then get into granular stuff. So. Not quite what I want, but I'm going to go in and shift that waveform around a little bit more. Now I definitely can't do this on the Move. I mean, not quite. And change the out point. I quite like that. I might start it earlier, later. Quite like that. Might just transpose it further down. Where's my old transpose button? It's there. Okay, I'm not saying it's ideal, but I quite like that. So, it might be a nice rumble. Let's get rid of all the top end of it. I'm going to really get rid of that top end actually, something nice there. Take something high. Not sure what that is, but I really like it. Right, we're going to make something with just these noises. Okay, so let's try and program something in now. I'm going to try and record something this time. Okay, let's record those. So there is obviously a metronome. Switch that on there. Oh, been looking at that. It's close-up screen for ages. I'm so sorry. Let's go back to our wide shot. Okay, let's try and record something. So you see that recorded 4 bars. Gonna see if so rather than typing it in, we played it in that time. I'm gonna try and just jam on this one. Okay, we're going to delete all those notes and try it again. Now, I think delete notes is hold this and back, which should have deleted the notes, which it has. So. Okay, just going to check the mode of this sample because it's done something weird. So that's on a cut. I'm just going to put it on a cut still and just have it and get rid of these. Why am I not hearing that? Okay, let's just check what mode that sample's in. It's in cut. Let's just have it in once. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Okay, I'm going to put it back into cut, because that's lasting for too long. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm going to put a little bit of delay on this now. We haven't been into delay, so there is delay on here as well. So. Okay, and again, I just want this to play on the 4th beat, so this will be the 4th variation. So we're going to change this to come in on 4 of 4. I don't quite like that, I do have to say. So there is a compressor on here as well. So we're just going to try and compress these if I get it right. So that's sidechain, so I don't want that. So I'm going to come back out of this into the song, and I'm going to get my guitar there. So that's the guitar. I'm going to hit sidechain, the sidechain, and we're going to just put this on full. I mean, that sounds pretty cool to me. Okay, I'm going to try for a bit of a vocal now. I have got some samples on here. Might get copyright flagged for this, so this will be fun. Let's go into here. So I've created a new track. It's gone into the clip. It's automatically picked as ever a synth, which I don't want. So I'm going to go to kit, and in fact, I'm going to do a new kit. And it's asking me to pick a file, so let's not pick these guitars. So I have got some in here, some vocals. Let's not do that because I'm going to get copyright flagged. Let's try and get some.
Get away from
I've got some film clips.
Senior.
Everybody.
Did you have the program for?
Are you not entertained? Are you? Is this not?
Down here, it's our time down here. Down
This
here,
doesn't sound
it's
right,
our time
but
down
we're going to
here.
try it. This might sound ridiculous.
It's our time down here. 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 It's our time down here.
Not quite right, but getting there. So
It's
let's try.
it's
try
our time.
something else.
Baby Chunk is dead. It's down here. It's our time.
get away from
Easier.
I have to.
The pro.
It's
Easier.
Baby Chunk. It's our time down here. It's our time down here. It's our time down here. It's our time down here.
No, I'm going to try
It's
something
our
else.
time down here. It's our time down here.
Is this not why you were here? Are you not? Are you not?
Prepare to evacuate soul.
Slide.
Tyler Durden.
Slide.
Fucking freak. What's going on?
Gentlemen.
I'm going to take just that slide from this. So we're going to go into waveform. And we're going to look for that slide. So I'm going to zoom in a bit.
Slide. Slide.
Slide. Not sure if this will work, but let's do that.
Slide.
Tyler.
Don't want the Tyler Durden.
Slide.
So what I've done here is I've got some film clips which I've just banged together into one sample, knowing that I can use different bits.
Slide. Slide.
Okay, I'm just going to zoom in again.
Slide.
See if we can get right to the end of the clip.
Slide. Slide.
Now there's a harsh cut off on the end of there, as you can hear. But let's just see what it sounds like first. Can't hear it at all. Okay, let's just switch off that guitar for a second. So it's going to need some drive, which I think is here. Yeah, it's not going to work that. It's not aggressive enough. So again, we're going to try a different.
Slide. Slide. Slide.
I mean, it might work with some saturation. Let's just try that.
Slide. Slide.
Oh, that's horrible. Right, let's not do that. Let's just
Slide. Slide.
try a different one.
The program for this. Did you have a good one?
Everybody in. Everybody in.
Okay, you can't beat a bit of the Doors, so.
Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in.
So we're going to do everybody in,
in.
then everybody in.
Everybody in.
So we're going to do that.
Everybody in. Everybody in.
And then we're going to do the ceremony is about to begin.
The program for this evening, not new. You've seen its entertainment through and through.
That's quite good. I quite like that.
Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on?
Everybody in. Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You have seen this entertainment through and Did you have a good world when you died?
Okay. Just going to take that compressor off everything for a second. Okay. Okay, so
Everybody in. 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 Everybody in.
So let's make this a bit longer. So I'm going to make this one 4 bars.
Everybody in.
Let's go to bar 2.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Let's go to bar 3.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Okay, so we've got this 4-bar sequence. In fact, I know what we're going to do. Let's just do a
Everybody
1-bar
Everybody
sequence.
in.
Let's just do a 1-bar sequence. So, no, a 2-bar.
Everybody in. Everybody in.
Okay, and we're going to make this
Everybody in.
play every 4th
Everybody
loop.
in.
So, this is going to play on 1 of 4. Right, so... Then, don't know what that
Everybody
doing,
in.
1 of 4.
Everybody in.
And then we're going to make this
Everybody in.
Play
Everybody in.
2 of 4. So,
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
and I'm going to make this place on 3 of 4.
The program for this evening is not new. You have seen this entertainment through and through.
3 of 4.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You have seen this entertainment through and
Everybody in. Everybody in.
So that's 2 of 4.
The program for this evening
one
is not
is-
new. You have seen this entertainment through and through.
3 of 4.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You have seen this entertainment through and
Through and through. So it's not going to quite work with that one.
Did you have a good world when you died?
So let's make this whole sequence longer. So I'm going to make it 4 bars. It's easier just to work like that. Okay, so 4 bars. Let's go to the beginning. So now, because it's going to play it off loops, we're going to make
Everybody
this.
in.
We're going to make this
Everybody
one play
in.
on 1 of 4 for now. This one
Everybody
on
in.
2 of 4. No, 1 of 4. And then, so let's just have a look. So, I'll play that one.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Everybody in. Everybody
in.
Everybody
in.
Everybody
Gonna
in.
make this play on
Everybody in.
2 of 8, I think it is now. 2 of 4. Let's just see if that works.
Everybody in.
1 of 4. This is gonna play on
Everybody in.
1 of 4.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
This
the
one's gonna
program for
play a
this
2
evening
of
is not
4.
new. You have seen
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
the program for this evening is not new. You have seen this entertainment through and the The program for this evening is not new. You've
So
seen this
2 of 4.
entertainment through and through.
2 of 4, and then this one. No,
Did you
this
have a
one.
good
I'm gonna
world
play this
when
on
you died?
3 of 4.
Enough to base a movie on?
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment through and through. Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on?
Everybody in.
Okay, cool. So let's just put some reverb on this. So there is this little button here saying Effects Entire. So now if I want to put reverb on all of these at the same time, I can just press Effects Entire and then go to Reverb and let's turn it up.
Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in.
And I think we might also do some delay on this as well. I'm still getting my head around delay on this, but the delay is around here somewhere. Yes, it's here. So shift and delay rates, delay, sync 16th notes. I think we can change this to like, yeah, and I think if we hit that again, now digital analog delay amount. 8th note.
Everybody in. Everybody in.
Delay.
Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in.
Let's turn the amount up.
Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Okay, I'm just affecting just this one at the moment. So let's just back out. And let's...
Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment through and through. Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on?
Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in. Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment through and through. Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on?
Everybody in.
Okay, so we've got 2 bars free at the end there. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to
Everybody
change
in.
this to 1 of 3. This one
Everybody in.
to 1 of 3.
The
This one
program for
here
this evening is not
to
new.
2
You've
of
seen this
3.
entertainment through. Did you have
This
a
one
good
to
world
3
when
of
you
3.
died? Enough.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment through and through. Did you have a good world when you died?
I'm just going to EQ these a little bit. So,
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment through and through. Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on?
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment through and through. Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on?
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment through and through.
Okay, I think that's going to be it for today. A bit different to Move One. A bit slower going through everything, but I'm learning it. I quite like it. I do have to say. The sampling, I like the sample cut off on it. Something about the sound that's not quite right, and it doesn't quite feel as visceral as playing this one. You know, it doesn't quite feel as... Whereas, you know... Probably got too much reverb on, that's why. Yes. Maybe it's compression, I don't know. It might be compression. Maybe if I compress it a little bit more, maybe that's what it'll be. Maybe that's it.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
Yeah, good. Maybe it is just a compression.
Everybody in.
Everybody in.
The program for this evening is not new. You've seen this entertainment through and through.
Anyway, that's it. I'm going to call that a day there. Yeah, I'm going to call that a day. Call that a day. This is the Deluge. I'm quite liking it. Something about me not wanting to get rid of my Move just yet. But anyway, that's that. I'm going to cut that stream there.